When life gives you lemons. Hello and welcome to the Mara Project. Mara Chua here, and today is another episode of Peaches Reviews Pages, the official vlog tie-in with my book blog called Peach Pages. So for this entry, I will give a disclaimer. This entry has a lot of profanities.
What the is this? Watch your profanity.
So this will contain a lot of swearing. I hope that YouTube will not get mad at me if I'm gonna have to, I don't know, figure out how to make use of this video after filming. Then yeah, that would be great. So first of all, I don't give a about this book, or rather Mark Manson doesn't. So you may already know what we will be tackling based on the title of this book. So if you're not familiar, well, this is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a oh, it feels so weird swearing on video. This is Mark Manson's blog contained with self-help tips and guides on how to simply just, well, not give a damn. How do I censor it? And now it's in a full-length book. So Mark Manson's book teaches us how to feel more confident in ourselves and what we do. Of course, not giving a does not have to mean not caring. It means learning to be happier about ourselves, to be comfortable and not give a damn on how others perceive you. If Manson uses vulgar but hilarious language in his book, then I should be allowed to speak in the same manner, with nonchalance. When Manson writes, it's like he is speaking to his younger self. Most of us who wish to leave a message to our younger selves would rather cringe than comfort them. Or that's just me. Because if I was stuck in a room with every version and every year from my younger self's life, I would beat the living shit out of them. And then feed them cookies while scaring them about the impending heat death of the universe. The ultimate message that Mark Manson conveys in his book falls to finding a counterintuitive sorry, I can't pronounce this word for some reason. Counterintuitive approach to living a good life. As the description of the book reads, this manifesto is a refreshing slap in the face for all of us. Besides using humor to teach us a lesson or two, Manson expresses himself through tough love, wake-up calls, including sharing his own stories and personal experiences. Insecure? Go yourself, and not in a literal way, but more of a way that says, you know what, being different is fun, or everyone is different, but I'm the one who stands out. Manson lists out people, famous celebrities, thinkers, and other important figures in history wherein their lives seemed either ordinary or worthless, until those people realized they could stop caring about how the world saw them, and that's what brought them to their successes. Manson starts by sharing the story of Charles Bukowski. He described Bukowski initially as an alcoholic, womanizer, chronic gambler, loud, cheapskate, deadbeat, and on his worst days, a poet. Bukowski's writing career was not off to a good start because of how many rejections he had. Because of the constant rejection, Bukowski would acquire bad habits, and this would go on for decades, until he hit his 50s. Luck struck him when an editor at a small independent publishing company wanted him. This editor gave Bukowski a chance even if he was already in his broken state, and at a late age to even pursue his dreams. He was late age-wise perhaps, but it was never too late for him to have his big break as an author. Manson praises Bukowski for literally not trying. Bukowski was aware his life sucked, but nonchalantly pursued his writing career in secret, which is what ironically made him famous. What Mark Manson means here is that striving and trying so hard to achieve something will further make you unsuccessful. Taking things easy and letting your life flow is what will allow you to eventually have these small and big victories. Don't try, Manson writes, and don't try to be perfect. Or, as Roderick Heffley said in Diary of a Wimpy Kid,
Rule number 1, don't be good at something you don't want to do.
Now that Manson has introduced the tone of his book, he explains what he calls the feedback loop from hell, which refers to an endless cycle of worrying about something, be it confrontation or future event, or constantly thinking you're a piece of shit. This is how Manson gets us readers to relate to him and this book. The cycle makes us continuously doubt ourselves. How do we make all of this stop? Just say the magic words. Who gives a If pursuing the positive is negative, then pursuing the negative is positive. Again, Manson does not want us to not care. Rather, he wants us to feel more relaxed and content when it comes to the things we deal with, even on a daily basis. Especially when your happiness is involved. Happiness can be a problem, and Manson is right. Too much of it is concerning. What? Are you laughing like the Joker? And even he isn't okay all the time. You can be happy, but once you see the cruelty of the world, you start to realize things, such as the story of Buddha. He was once a prince who was given the world of his own by his father, but that meant sheltering him from the outside world. This young prince eventually grew up to contradict all of his father's plans for him and pursue what he knew he had to do. Is he special? Yes, but also he isn't. Nobody really is. We're all different, yet somewhat alike, all at the same time. In the 3rd chapter of the book, Manson talks about his late friend named Jimmy. Despite his stoned, carefree behavior, Jimmy was also somebody who secretly knew the secrets of the universe. Manson looked up to him, and his passing deeply affected him. People who laughed at him were missing the opportunity of their lives, meaning that Manson's friend was focusing on what was so good about himself that he viewed himself as an achiever, even if he wasn't. He wasn't entitled. Simply, Jimmy was learning to accept himself for both being special and not. Like Jimmy and Charles Bukowski, Mark Manson had his faults and messy past too. As Jimmy had an influence on him, a young Mark was quite a troublemaker. Of course, I expect this coming from an author of a book about not giving a f***. Manson snuck drugs in his school and even tried to cover it up only to fail. This led to a downward spiral that would change his life forever. He was kicked out of school and had to be homeschooled. His life became very different after that incident. Young Mark believed that if he was good at causing trouble, then that was what shaped his identity. Mark grew up to realize that it wasn't. I'm awesome and the rest of you suck, so I deserve special treatment. Or, I suck and the rest of you are awesome, so I deserve special treatment. It goes both ways, as Manson explains. That entitlement isn't the same as feeling special because the former uses a fake facade, while the latter stems from self-love and self-care. And when you become aware that your life is just one big hellhole, you eventually find the values in your own suffering. In order to understand our own suffering, we must understand ourselves by raising self-awareness. Manson compares self-awareness to layers of an onion. When we cut and peel an onion, there are multiple layers to it. The more we expose ourselves to that onion, the more its smell makes us tear up. This is the same as becoming more aware of ourselves. The smallest of problems can become bigger and also make us cry. We have a blind spot when it comes to our emotions, which is why we can be easily triggered. After discovering those layers, you can work on resolving that problem for yourself. Another great example Manson points out is the story of Dave Mustaine, a guitarist. Mustaine was once kicked out of another band without any warning. Then he realized it. If he couldn't be a member of a band, why not just start one? And that's how Megadeth, which is a really good band by the way, was born. To add, the band Mustaine got kicked out was none other than Metallica, which is also really good. As his new music career went on, Megadeth would prove to make original music and do its best not to be linked or compared with Metallica. Though if you ask me if I had to pick between listening to the two bands, I personally like both of them since as a metalhead and what do you call somebody who loves rock music? A rockhead? As somebody who just loves both music genres, I'm really okay with whatever artist. I mean, as long as it's not from problematic people. But then again, most singers or members of metal groups are like the problematic ones. Of course, it's important to separate art from the artist. By identifying problems, we also end up applying what Manson calls shitty values. Yes, it's important to be optimistic, but optimism pisses people like Manson off, and pleasure, material success, and being right isn't going to solve every problem you have. Anger is natural, a part of life. Emotions are just feedback. Forcing yourself to stay positive all the time can drive you mad. That's why there's a good and bad side to everything, and you need to weigh them out instead of only focusing on one. It's your choice. William James, the father of American psychology, did not have the best life growing up. He had a lot of health problems. He was the black sheep in his family and was against becoming a doctor from his father's wishes. He was somebody who didn't know what to do and just had small, deemed useless hobbies like painting and reading. Until one day, he was interested in a lecture he read from philosopher Charles Peirce. Now James had a choice: change his circumstances no matter the likelihood of failure, or just accept that he was powerless and do nothing about it. Well, you can guess what he chose next. James wasn't the only one who was the black sheep troublemaker either. Returning to a young Mark Manson, he had a horrible love life. Creepy and weird ex? No, thank you. But through his own experiences, Mark realized that he isn't always the problem. Victimizing himself will further destroy his ego. The biggest problem with victimhood chic, a style where we victimize ourselves, is that it sucks attention away from the actual victims. Looking down on ourselves sucks balls, yes, but there isn't really a proper way of changing that behavior. There is no guidebook, no how. So Manson says we're all wrong about everything. And he knows that too. The more something threatens your identity, the more you will avoid it. We have all been, at some point, the type of person to avoid their problems like the plague. And because the way we view the world affects us so badly, we'd rather just avoid it all. This law, as Manson describes it, is like what he likes to call Manson's law. Knowing and finding yourself can be dangerous because it might make you force yourself into a societal role you do not want. But that isn't what Manson fully meant. He doesn't want us to stop. He wants us to keep learning something new about ourselves and not just fixate on one thing forever. It's time to be a little less certain of yourself. With that identity crisis comes a failure when we try something new, but that failure is also a great way to move forward. The present Manson embraces having been fortunate enough to secure a job he enjoys and even this best-selling book. But as he shared earlier, he wasn't so fortunate when he was younger. Yet he's done a great job at embarking on this shitty journey to remove the shit in his life. That sounded better in my head. When it comes the time we ever doubt ourselves again, we need to learn how to say no. Say no to our bad or intrusive thoughts. Say no to others and empower yourself in that manner. Assert yourself. Look at me, I couldn't do shit and allowed myself to be taken advantage of all because I couldn't say no to my best friend. We'll mess up, call ourselves a shit show, and then think destructively. But that's, in the end, what makes us human and how we're somewhat and somehow still alive. We're alive because we exist. The products of our mistakes don't define us anymore, and all the examples Manson has listed learn to get through those little failures and eventually earn their respective successes. Dying doesn't mean taking your own life or losing it due to various causes. Dying can also be a form of letting go of something or someone that affected yourself. There is a sunny side of death that no one but Manson has probably talked about. And I think that's beautiful because reading Manson's book made me feel like somebody was yelling at me to pull myself together. If anything, I wish I had read this book when I was much younger. I've seen it everywhere in bookstores, but didn't have the chance to because I was still more absorbed in fantasy worlds and young adult universes. Let me explain it in a more Mara-centered manner. The solar system is so weird, but I love everything about it so much. Every planet that orbits our sun is unique in its own way. If planets were sentient and could feel what's going on around them, somebody has been watching too much Solar Balls. They think their lives in the galaxy were shit. Especially Earth because all we do is pollute the planet and start wars everywhere. But somehow they continue to survive in their orbits and placements because they've learned to be happier with themselves as the billions of years went by. I wish I learned more about space when I was younger, but I was stuck somewhere else. And it's not Uranus. What I'm saying is, I wish I told my younger self all of these things, but maybe I didn't have to. Now that I'm older, I understand things better. Little by little, I'm continuing to love and care for myself more, even if I feel embarrassed with the way I live sometimes. And that's perfectly fine. Again, not giving isn't not caring. It's being more content that you're the weird kid in a stereotypical high school setting, but you're also secretly an overpowered teenager ready to take down a corrupted government. Now, why does Manson call this behavior an art? Because art is beautiful, isn't it? And subtlety is not just being ignorant, but taking it easy and slowly, not drawing too much attention, and just living in the moment. We'll find our own successes one day. All we have to do is accept the way things are and don't try. I hope you enjoyed this book as much as I did. Thank you, Mark Manson, for making me laugh and learn something about myself and you from the book. For other self-help books and psychology books, you can read my posts or watch the vlogs about John C. Maxwell's The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And from my book blog, Malcolm Gladwell's books, there's also my book, the video version, and the blog post, The Art of War by Sun Tzu, and Atomic Habits by James Clear. And for the lattermost title, I didn't write a book blog post nor made a video, but it is in my 2025 book recap post. If you want to check it out, I'll be posting all of the links in the description below. I also want to give a special shout out to my boyfriend Jerome. Thank you for gifting me this book. There's another book that he gifted me which is coming right up after this blog post, so just stay tuned. Again, thank you guys so much for sticking around, and I excuse all of the amount of profanities in this video. Anyways, I hope you also enjoyed this video, and I will see you in another book vlog. This was Mara Chua of the Mara Project. Bye guys!